This is the Boss Up. This is basically just the bigger version of the S-Boss. It's a mid-length. It's one of those boards that I like to take out when it's small and kind of gutless, and just if you want to catch waves, this is the go-to. So I've had a few mid-lengths in the past, and they've been high pro mid-lengths. The grown-up brother of the S-Boss is really my favorite because it has all the same features and characteristics of the S-Boss. The difference being the mid-length factor. You still have your super straight rail line from just above the fins to about 12 inches below the nose. That big spiral V concave all the way through the bottom of the deck. This morning, I'm sure you guys are maybe seeing some of the clips running through right now. I rode it as a quad and then I put the thruster in it. The quad to me had a ton of drive and would carry really nicely through sections. And then when I put the thruster in, it had a lot more pivot. I was able to kind of step back over that back fin back here and pivot off, and it would get me up into the lip really quick. The beauty of it is it does have the 5-fin setup, and you can run kind of whatever setup you want in it. I would even recommend putting a twin fin and then a +1 system in that, and that would really loosen up the back of the board. And if you're not used to riding a mid-length, that's something that you could kind of throw in there and feel that difference and get the pivot that you're looking for without losing the ability to generate speed. This one here is 6'8", 20 1/4, 2 7/8. Almost 3 inches thick, 40.1 liters, 13 liters more than I would normally ride in my regular S-Boss. Amazing paddle power, and then you don't lose maneuverability, which is, I think, a huge factor in a mid-length. Traditional mid-lengths, you know, they're kind of slow and luggy through waves, whereas this thing just carries a ton of speed and actually acts more like that high-performance shortboard. And it utilizes that spinal V all the way through, so you're tipping off of the board more than utilizing the rail line. Your rail line is where you're just going to generate a ton of speed from this board. Fins I rode this morning, like I said, was the quad and the thruster, particularly the Endorphins thruster set. This is a large. I also ran the large quads in the rear. Large fins for me on a large board, and the board still had a ton of maneuverability. If you're a little bigger, or if you need a little extra paddle power, or you just want a board that you can coast into waves on and catch the waves that nobody else is looking at, I think this is your board. I would even go as far as to say I would take this thing out on a decent sized day at like sunset, maybe even ride it at like a roping point break like Pavones or Rincon, or just something where you're looking to maximize your wave catching potential on crowded days. I had a lot of fun on it this morning. Caught a lot of waves that nobody was even looking at. I actually got a little air reverse off on it. So I think that was kind of my favorite wave because I went out and I didn't really have any expectations to do any airs on this board. And yeah, it was a small air, but the fact that I could get a 6'8" around was pretty unique feeling. This particular model, this is the I-Bolic, so it has that I-beam stringer running through. It's got a good flex in it. I feel like the flex pattern's perfect for the board. It doesn't overflex or underflex in particular sections. Lightning fast for a mid-length, couldn't believe it. Yeah, I'm running the Action 5-piece pad in the back. That's kind of my favorite pad. It's got dog hair on it right now because I have 2 huskies. Backhand, it was really nice that I was able to kind of draw out lines on it. I feel like I don't actually go right all that often, just being a goofy footer. I felt like I was able to go really far out on the face and then rebound into the whitewash. Just with all this foam, it carries the speed out into the flat part of the wave. Has the maneuverability to kind of come back. Backhand, it felt really good. Forehand, for long of a board it actually fits really well into the pocket of the wave. And when I was surfing this morning with Jason, it was pretty small for lower standards. It felt like it was loose, lively, and everything that you're looking for out of a shortboard, but it's a mid-length, and you kind of get that extra paddle power and foam. Backhand, forehand, it was working. It's gonna be one of those boards that stays in my quiver for a very long time because I know I can go out and have a lot of fun on it.
I feel like riding a mid-length changes your perspective on your expectations for the surf, and by like lowering it, it makes everything so much more enjoyable. There's kind of removes all that additional pressure of performing, and instead it becomes more of just a process of enjoying. I've actually really enjoyed riding the longer boards the last few months here, especially down at Trestles and all like the average days, and it just makes you such a happier person instead of applying any extra pressure to surf well. Instead, just enjoy the experience.
How you're kind of able to be out there and being on a mid-length that almost puts you into like a different position in the lineup where all of a sudden you're seeing waves and you're able to like track down waves from way further away that might swing wide or something. Like I know you did that on a few of the rides this morning where we were sitting on the peak and a wide like west set would come in and move down the point and you were able to just track it down, which I feel like it almost puts you into a different position in the lineup that you wouldn't normally be in on a short board.
I know once you're on like those sub 30 liter boards, it's your radius of catching waves is so small. Yeah, riding the mid-length, it expands your radius significantly, where all of a sudden an insider is catchable. The ones that shift wide that no one's even looking at are now obtainable and rideable. So it just expands your reach in a lineup. Did you notice like with the additional length, so there's a little bit more swing weight, that you definitely had to adjust your positioning like on the board, but also like how much more time it would take for the nose to come off the top? So you had to like slow down your movements and become more aware of how you're looking at sections too. Everything slows down a little bit, which is not a bad thing.
I mean, people probably think slowing down is a bad thing in surfing, but when it comes to technique, and it kind of makes you analyze the wave a little differently, just read sections differently because you know you have more board under you, so it's not as responsive as like your high performance shortboard. You rely on the extra foam to kind of carry you through sections and get you back to the point that you want to be.
Every variable is an option on that board for sure.
All right, Jason, I'll hit you later. We'll send you this clip once it's ready to go. Just seeing this board evolve from being like a high performance shortboard into being a mid-length is pretty amazing. It can be a mid-length, it can be a shortboard, you name it, it's all doable. Go get your hands on one, try it. Wouldn't doubt that you love it.